And good morning. Okay. Yeah, I know it's Thursday and I have not been here all week. I know, I'm sorry, guys. That's it's been that kind of a week. And next week's going to be probably just as interesting because of multiple things I've got going on, which is obviously beyond my control. Uh, okay, come on. Thank you. Okay, let's see here. What do I got going on next week? Uh, the only thing I got going on is next Tuesday morning. Next Tuesday and Wednesday morning, I've got, and Monday morning. So Monday, Tuesday, and it looks like next week is only going to be a Thursday and Friday thing again because I've got other appointments, real life stepping in and kicking me in the butt. Um, It's funny. Yeah, I mean, y'all, okay. I haven't hidden from you guys that I've got some medical issues going on. All right. Uh, I got a big old flyer, one of these huge 8 by 10 cardboard ads that you get in the mail from a new doctor's office in town. All right. Now, for since the mid to late 90s, because it was happening before I retired out of the Air Force in '98. So uh, I've had issues with the nerve damage in my body, arms and legs. It wasn't too bad back then, but it's bad enough that my wife broke my finger during childbirth when my son was born, and I didn't feel it until I noticed my finger was crooked. And I've been on gabapentin and other pills for over a decade. It is what it is, you know. Uh, much like other people, this is something that does not go away. It's going to happen. It's going to stay. And I've had one of the best neurologists in the state who's got contacts across the world working with me for the greater part of this decade. So it's not like I'm not getting top-notch treatment. So anyway, back to this ad I get. Numbness, burning, tingling, nerve pain, restless legs, achy hands, difficulty walking. Sound familiar? Then it's got the circle with the hash line or the slash going through it over gabapentin, uh, Neurosona, Lacurier, Cymbalta, surgery. You don't need these stuffs. Hey, good morning, Retro. How you doing today, my friend? Saying, you don't need to take these pain pills. You don't need to have surgery. You know, patients, okay, then big letters underneath it. Patients report improvement after just one visit. Then no help for neuropathy. False. Yet be on medication for the rest of your life. False. Relieve pain, restore health, and magnify quality of life without drug surgery or invasive procedures. True. You don't have to suffer another minute. Give us a call. As for a new Neuro Pain and Spine Center. Yeah. Don't tell me they're not targeting people that, they don't target people. They've got some way of knowing who's got one illness, one disease, and they target them for advertising. Make promises like, you know, come see us and we'll fix you. Your old doctors don't know what the hell they're talking about. Leading people with false hopes. 15 years ago, I would have jumped. I would have jumped at that 15 years ago. I would have, 15 years ago, I would have jumped at that. Oh my God, you can fix me. I'm tired of this. But 15 years ago, I wasn't as educated on this as I am today. I keep up with techniques on nerve damage and neuropathy and what they can do and can't do to fix it. I get flyers in from a company, from a group dealing specifically with CIDP and other nerve issues, keeping up on latest treatments and even experimental stuff that they're trying to do and what the success rate is. And I've talked about some of this stuff with my neurosurgeon. If there's going to be a cure for stuff like what I've got, it's decades down the road before it'll be out there for use by people like me, people like Monkey, people like Alex. Yeah, just like them. You're right, Retro, and they're gonna get. I'll guarantee they're gonna get some patients. They're gonna get some people that are gonna come walking in, waving this flyer that we got. And they're going to wave that around saying, cure me, fix me, make my life better. It's sickening. It is absolutely sickening that they're going to get people to fall for that. Hey, Data, good morning to you, my friend. It just, it just, it pisses me off to see this kind of stuff. You know, you see false claims in everything. You really do. I mean, every ad you see on television is a lie. They're hiding a lie on every ad. You're not going to get a beach body in 30 days if you're 100 pounds overweight. It's not going to happen. You could quit eating today, and in 30 days, you're still not going to have a beach body. Oh, you may lose weight over the next 30 days. You go on an IV diet like I did when I was in my 20s. Go on an IV diet for 45 days, 60 days. Yeah, I dropped 60 some odd pounds. Hey, Sean, I did. I dropped 60 some odd pounds. And within a week of even starting to eat, and my stomach had shrunk so much I could barely finish a sandwich. I mean, just a bologna and cheese sandwich. I could barely finish it. But within a couple of weeks, I put on 15 of that 30 pounds once I started to eat again. So, yeah, I mean, every ad out there, Kia, you own a Rolls Royce, and you're not going to become the sexiest man or woman on the street. You buy what is that, a Hellcat? You're not going to become the fastest guy out there road racing. You're not going to be able to drive your car across salts, the salt flats, and just let go of the steering wheel, and it's going to do everything for you. That's not going to happen. Every ad out there contains a lie. Have you ever gone into McDonald's and bought a hamburger that looked like the ones you see in pictures? Have you ever gotten a pizza from Domino's, Papa John's, or Pizza Hut that looked like the ones in the ads? Of course you don't. Now, Retro, I agree and disagree with you at the same time, okay? Because not everybody keeps up on the latest medications for their illness, for their disease, okay? And an informed consumer, even medical, is important. And sometimes a new medication will come out for something that you've got that will absolutely work for you, but you need to talk it over with your doctor. You need to be smart enough to understand that your doctor, you know, and your doctor may not be aware of all this stuff. So give him a chance to research it and to look into it and see what's going on with it. I've done that with my doctor. Sat there and, hey, uh, I got told about this treatment. I bought a TENS unit. I bought a TENS unit because of some literature I read that said a TENS unit being used on a regular basis can help slow down the progression. I talked to my doctor about it, and he said, well, it can't hurt. So try it. So I run a TENS unit on occasion, a couple times a week, trying to keep, like the doctor said, it can't hurt. I got the TENS unit relatively inexpensively. If it works, it works. If it helps slow down, it helps slow down. And now, is there any way to quantifiably measure that it helps slow down the progression? No. But it's worth me trying, and it's not an ongoing expense. I had a one-time expense of about $65. So that's not that bad. But, you know, the ads need to stop promising you will get cured, you will lose weight, you will do this, you will do that. It will make you better. Those ads need to stop promising that. Become Magneto. But anyway, yeah, I got that ad, and I'm going to send it to my doctor. I'm going to scan it and send it to my doctor's office. Let them know what's happening out to what we're getting out here in the mail. But I'm damn sure not going to. I'm not jumping ship. I'm not going to a new doctor. But anyway, enough about that. I don't want to make this whole stream about that crap. It just something that ticked me off, and it was sitting here on the uh, coffee table next to me, so I brought it up. All right, so what are we going to go talk about today? Oh no. Oh, okay. I thought I lost. I did lose it in a way, but I can scroll down and find it again. I don't mind when when I lived in Germany as part of the Air Force when I was there for 3 years. I did my best not to live up to the ugly American stereotype. The guy that goes over there and tells everybody, we're better than you because we're an American. You need to do this because this is how we do things in America. Yeah, small print results may vary. Now, but likewise, so I did my best to adopt into the culture of Germany. It didn't hurt any that I already spoke decent German when I got there. It didn't hurt any that I took German in high school and was part of the classes was uh, a study of the German culture and how it's changed and the effects of World War II on the German culture, much like the effects of World War II on the Japanese culture. So, but to get somebody now, and this is what's even funnier is and I don't know if y'all have seen this video yet. It's been making the rounds for the past few days. And this woman has deleted her original uh, TikTok. Well, she's deleted her TikTok account, period. But this is a young lady from Australia.
Just gonna say it. There are too many American flags. Like they're on houses, they're on cars, saw them on couch cushions. Like, I don't know who's making these American flags, but they'd be making a bloody fortune. And like, you're the only country that I know that does this. Like, the only time I think I've ever seen an Australian flag is like on the Harbour Bridge. Could not tell you what it looks like. Like, I know it's like blue and it's got some stars on it, but I think I could draw the American flag from memory. Like, I think I could make a bloody sculpture out of it. That's how many times I've seen it. It's enough. Let's pull back on it, okay? Let's stay humble.
Wow. Now, I don't know if this woman has moved to the United States from Australia or if she was just here for a visit. My impression is that she's moved here, taken a job or got married, something or another, but she's lived here now.
I'm just going to say it. There are too many American flags. Like, they're on houses, they're on cars, saw them on couch cushions.
Come on, Mal. All right. First of all, there's no such thing as too many American flags. And by the way, good morning, Donald. There's no such thing as too many American flags. I've got one on my truck. My wife's got one on her car. I'm getting ready to put up a new one in front of my house. I've got to take a tree down. So since I got to take that tree down, I want to put an American flag pole. I'm going to put a pole up with the American flag on it. I'm going to get the solar panel lights to put on top of the truck or put just underneath the truck and have that way my flag can stay lit all night and I don't have to light it from the ground. I can light it from up above. I've I've got American flag with me all the time because I've got one tattooed on my forearm. Lady, reason why so many people fly the American flag in the United States. Now, this woman lives in Texas too. Come on, she's in Texas. By God, the Texan flag and the United States flag it's almost a law. You got to fly them, but you don't. No, we're proud to be Americans. All right, I'm uh, I'm a Buckeye living in Florida. I don't know if y'all follow these two Brits, Jason Joss, Josh. Can't talk worth a damn this morning. They're they've been touring the United States now for the past 2 months, 2.5 months. And I mean, they started off in Charlotte and then moved down, down to Florida. They've gone up to Wyoming, Montana, Utah. I think they avoided California altogether. And now they're over in Nashville. So, but they're touring the country. They're talking about all the great sights they've seen and how all the wonderful people they've met and how friendly people have been to them and how different it is here than what they were exposed to in the media in England. Yeah, no. Oh, so you're following them there too, Retro? Yeah, that guy, he's got the worst luck for snakes. But we've got reason to be proud of being Americans. You've got reason. You should have plenty of reason to be proud to be an Australian. All right, Australia. Yeah, yeah, we joke about losing the Great Emu War. Okay, but Australia's got a great history. I mean, yeah, you started off as a prison colony, and look what you've grown into. You're a huge country. You've got some you've got people there with the we what we call the cowboy spirit because of where they live and how they have to live in with your deserts and such. There's plenty of reason to be proud to be an Australian. I mean, there's no country without its issues, with its dark parts of its history, with things that could be better. This, every country's got this left wing crap going on in its government right now and amongst its people. But that's as a result, in my personal opinion, of the wonderful lives that we're living compared to our grandfathers and great grandfathers and great great grandfathers and great grandmothers. So yeah, there's Germany is battling drunk raccoons. Wow. So to fly an American flag, you should be proud of your country. That's what made so many Americans mad at the women's national soccer team. They couldn't even stand there at the playing of the national anthem and put their hands over their hearts. They all, I think only three of them put their hands over their hearts, and only two of them even lip synced or mouthed the words to the national anthem. That's what made so many people mad about that team, and actually wasn't all that upset when they lost in the round of 16. That because these women were not proud to they did not display a pride in being Americans. Even Lapaho or Rapaho, whatever, her response is, what's the thing you're most proud of after all your years of playing American soccer? Getting equal pay. Really? It wasn't playing, representing your country, playing on the world, playing at the world. That wasn't the thing that made you most proud. And you're lying when you say it's equal pay because you didn't. You got better pay. You pushed for and received better pay and benefits for the women's team. So yeah, good on you. You managed to uh, rape the men's team and make them happy that you did it. Okay, so let's listen some more with this woman here.
Like, I don't know who's making these American flags, but they'd be making a bloody fortune.
Well, honestly, the Chinese make most of the American flags. There's not that many companies in the United States that make American flags. So, yeah.
I'm like, you're the only country that I know that does this. Like, the only time I think I've ever seen an Australian flag is like on the Harbour Bridge.
And that's bad on you. You should be ashamed of the fact that you don't know what your country's flag looks like and that you haven't seen it more prominently displayed in your home, in your own country, in your own neighborhood.
Could not tell you what it looks like. Like, I know it's like blue and it's got some stars on it, but I think I could draw the American flag from memory. Like, I think I could make a bloody sculpture out of it.
Well, good. I'm glad that you've seen our flag so many times on your during your stay in the United States that you know what our flag looks like. That makes me happy. You know where you're at. You're in the United States of America.
That's how many times I've seen it. It's enough. Let's pull back on it, okay? Let's stay humble.
No, I'm not going to stay humble. I'm not going to stay humble whenever I'm talking about our country, when I'm talking about the United States. I'm fairly going to admit we got issues because we're made up of people. We're made up of a lot of different people. And when you get a lot of different people together, there's always going to be issues. Somebody's going to have a complaint. But that just goes on with having people. Oh, you did? Okay, let's okay, retro. And do, 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 do. All right, let's go here. Close that ad. Plague of beer swinging raccoons, trashing people's homes and eating their pets. Holy crap. They're eating their pets? Uh, Homeowners being hit with repair bills up to 10,000 pounds or euros, 8,600 pounds. So that's about $9,000. After returning from their travels, find their kitchens damaged by the pesky creatures. It comes after a video posted on social media by the Bundestag. Germany's parliament shows a raccoon trying to escape from a rescue worker's net poking out from a window of a high rise building. When it scuttles across the window ledge, there it is. Boy, boy, that trash panda is really doing its best, isn't it? The encounter took place in an office building used by the MPs in central Berlin earlier this summer after the creature had climbed up several stories. Okay. Well, they don't want it to fall, but I'm sure they could have knocked it off that ledge. Let's see. The German embassy in London tweeted a surprise guest was spotted on the German Bundestag today, but with the little raccoon or Voxbar, as we say in German, couldn't find its way out. With a little help from colleagues, the cute visitor was brought safely back to nature. As well as drinking beer, the animals have been found to be munching on fish and pet rabbits. Really? Pet eating? Whoa. Oh, okay. That ad took over the thing. All right. As pet rabbits during their invasion, Germany's National Hunting Association says it's killed a record 200,000 raccoons in 2022 in a bid to curb the population, which has risen from less than 10,000 in 2 decades ago. 200,000 raccoons? Wow. Scientists say the population increase is almost exponential, and that attempts to reduce it through hunting have actually increased the birth rate. These animals, which are so cute at first sight, have become a plague in some parts of the country. But the problem can no longer be eradicated, so we have to learn to live with them. In less than a century, the species has made Germany its home. That story of both success and suffering. The animals have been linked to the Nazis due to the time period when they were introduced. It is popular belief they were released in Germany on the personal orders of Hermann Goring, the founder of the Gestapo, in his role as the head of the Reich's master of the hunt, but this has been disputed by historians. Raccoons were first released in Germany in the 1920s during a time when their fur was highly desirable. All right. Yeah, they've got, I mean, it's like here in the States, or here in the States, people buy snakes. And when snakes get too big, they release them out to the wild, or they buy these exotic animals. I was watching a video last night of a guy being arrested after stealing a car, and he had a monkey with him. Had a monkey on a leash. The Third Reich is getting its revenge. Thousands of animals now live in Berlin, where they've been spotted residing boarding buses and state high schools. as well as scavenging in the city's allotment gardens. Belgium is fending off an invasion of raccoons with at least 60,000 flooding Wallonia in the south and flooding and traveling to Flanders in the north. Uh, the animals are native to North America, but began showing up in Belgium in the 1980s. Please don't feed the raccoons. D, 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 D. Here we go. 10 years ago, we occasionally received a report, but then it was often concerned escaped animals from people who legally kept a raccoon as a pet. You can shoot them, but nobody likes to do that. In Flanders, we're now trying to limit the damage by catching them and then castrating or sterilizing them. Wow. Denut them and cut out their wombs. Really. That's a good story. Thanks, Retro. That's the best story. That's the best story I've got going today. Um, Now I'm throwing this story out here as a shock, okay? Because I'm actually going to applaud somebody that I have been very critical of, to put it nicely, over the past 4 or 5 years. I've rarely had anything good to say about this woman. But today, I'm going to say she's got it right. And I got to applaud her for it. Don't I must be having to buy a new mouse here soon because this thing is double clicking on me when I don't want it to. Ohio Rep. Max Miller, who is a Republican, clashed with Representative Ilhan Omar Tuesday after the Republican congressman called a post bigoted for promoting Christianity as the only true religion. Now, I had to read this several times when I first read the article to make certain that what I was, because my brain was not wrapping around what the article was actually saying. That is how back asswards this is. All right. Miller sparked the confrontation after taking issue with former Ohio GOP employee Lizzie Marbach, who posted in social media, "There's no hope for any of us outside of having faith in Jesus Christ alone." Okay. A former Ohio GOP employee posted the tenets of the Christian foundation, the tenets of the Christian faith, one of the foundational tenets of the Christian faith. Miller accused Marbach of bigotry and undermining religious freedom in the United States, writing, "This is one of the most bigoted tweets I've ever seen. Delete it, Lizzie." Really, Miller, she's expressing a basic tenet of Christianity. the largest religious base in this country. And she didn't slam anybody else's religion. She didn't slam anybody else for believing anything else. She expressed one of the basic foundational tenets of the Christian faith. She didn't say other people could not practice their religion. Now, you could extrapolate that she said these other religions are false, but every religion says other religions are false. You can't have a religious belief. A Muslim's not going to say Christianity is right. A Buddhist is not going to say Christianity or Muslims are right. A Hindu is not going to say that Christianity and Islam and Buddhism is right. Every religion is going to say theirs is the way to get to whatever is on the other side of death. Hey Roots, how you doing? Let's see, Roots. Yeah, okay. Let me post a link to that. Here we go. You want to leak to that raccoon story? There you go. So, all right. Anyway, he added, religious freedom in the United States applies to every religion. You've gone too far. Again, she didn't say anything that the other people can't practice their religions. Miller, you're an idiot. You opened yourself up. Marbach soon found an unexpected ally in Omar, Democratic Congresswoman and progressive Muslim, who accused Miller of violating the meaning of religious freedom by making the accusations of bigotry. No, stating the core beliefs or principles of your faith isn't bigoted as Lizzie did. It's religious freedom and no one should be scolded for that, Omar replied. It's also wrong to speak about religious freedom while simultaneously harassing people who openly express their beliefs. Bingo, she is 100% correct. Omar, let me give you a clap for that. It's not often that I'm going to say that you're right because it's not often I think you're right. Comments from progressives on Omar's response pushed back on the Congresswoman's assessment, encouraged her to walk back her defense of Marbach. That's her actual belief. You can disagree, but it's not bigoted for her to say what her beliefs are. That's all. Once again, Omar, a hammer, nail, head. You got it. You are 100% correct. Miller later apologized for the situation, saying, I posted something earlier that conveyed a message I did not intend. Nonsense. Your message was exactly what you intended to send. Don't lie about it. Just admit you were wrong. I will not try to hide my mistake or run from it. I sincerely apologize to Lizzie and everyone who read my post. No, just Miller, apologize, but say I was wrong. I was wrong in saying what I said. And it's a real shame it took somebody like Omar to point it out to you. Marbach later accepted the apology, saying, Max, I accept your apology 100%. However, the truth is, that is not me from whom you need forgiveness, but God Himself. I genuinely pray you seek Him and find salvation. Drop the mic and walk away. Um, Retro, unfortunately, if you know, yeah, the the Christ is in their book. However, if you're a practicing Christian, you're going to, and in a Muslim country, you're liable to end up dead. So they're not quite as accepting of the Christian religion as we are of the Muslim religion. We don't, I mean, I'm not saying I like the Muslim religion because even though I know quite a few Muslims, I work with some. I mean, I've worked for them, I've worked with them, and some of them I didn't last very long with because well, let's just say they didn't like the fact that I wear a cross. So, all right, let's see my next story. All right, let me. My mouse must be absolute crap. Okay, finally. I guess it's time for me to order a new mouse. Um, all right, here's a for the past week and a half, maybe even 2 weeks. I've been having trouble with my Samsung Note 9. I love the Samsung Notes. This phone is 5 years old, and I've been having a lot of issues with connecting to the internet, either Wi-Fi or data. And I've taken it to uh, the Samsung people at Best Buy. I've taken it to Verizon. I've talked to other people, and we have not been able to figure out why I've been having issues. So I went to Verizon the other day, and we're trying one more time. Their guy, I mean, he spent 25, 30 minutes going over the phone. And I mean, he just did everything that I did. So it's finally, all right. He goes, well, this is what I can do. I can get you, you're going to have to upgrade your phones. If having the internet access on your phone is so important, you're going to have to get a new phone. The Note 9 is a 5 year old phone. They don't make them, they don't sell them. You might be able to find a used one, but that's about it. So he was able, between Verizon and Samsung, he was able to get me a Samsung 22 Ultra for $600. All right, because they got the 23s coming out now, so they're trying to get rid of the 22s. So it's like, okay, fine. I went ahead and ordered it. Now my wife's also got the Note 9. We got our Note 9s at the exact same time. It was on one of these buy one get one. Had to pay for 20 had to pay for an extra line for a year, but that was like $200. Okay, that's no problem. Data, that's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking. Because I've also been considering paying $100 to get a new battery because my battery just doesn't last that long anymore. I might get, if I don't listen to audiobooks or stream anything, I might get 5 hours out of the battery. Going from 100%, and that after 5 hours, I'm down into the uh, low 20s. So I honestly consider that just about dead. And there's a place here in town I could get a new battery installed for $100, so I've been considering doing that. But $600 get a new phone, one step down from the newest phone. Last year's model. Okay, I can do this. And I went ahead and did it for the wife because even though she's not having any problems, it's like, well, I can't guarantee I'm going to get this kind of a deal. Get $600, get a phone for half price in the future. So order her a phone. Well, mine came in last night. Hers will be in probably tonight, tomorrow at the latest. About 5 or 6 hours before my new phone got to the house, because it didn't show up till 7:30 last night. About noonish yesterday, I was out running errands, pulled my phone out of my pocket, and I dropped it. It landed flat on the back. Now it's in a protective case. It's in a wallet that I made specifically for it. And I data I don't trust eBay for buying something like that unless I know the individual. I've been burned on eBay, probably to the tune of a few $100s. I don't trust individual sellers that much unless I know them personally. If I bought something from you, I would trust you to actually send it to me. But most people on eBay, I just don't trust it anymore. Oh, you've got the 22 Ultra? So anyway, my 22 Ultra, like I said, no, yesterday, so I dropped it, landed flat on its back. The damn phone started working perfectly. Internet connection from hell. I could stream videos, I could download, I could do everything that I was having problems with for the past couple of weeks. So I'm sitting here going, son of a gun. And the wife's sitting there, and she's listening to me ran a few minutes by. She asked me what's going on. I told her I dropped my phone, and now the stupid thing is working like it's supposed to be working. But I'd already paid the $600 for the new phone. It came in a couple hours later. So I went ahead and activated the new phone, and I'm in the process of transferring all my stuff over. I hate setting up a new phone. Damn. The updates and trying to get everything back to where it feels like it's your phone again. Where it's like when you get a new laptop or a new computer. You spend a week getting it where it feels like it's your computer. It's set up the way you're comfortable with having, your screen set up and uh, your default choices of font and font size, uh, your choices of how things look, exactly how it responds. Yeah, that the retro. That's what it had to have a loose connection or something inside of it. But unless you've got a heating pad, one of the a maintenance heating pad, you can't open these new phones like you used to be able to. So, my Note, let's see, I started off with the buying the Samsung Notes when they first came out, and I've used a Note ever since. And up until the Note 8, uh, you could take the phone apart and actually look at the circuit card, and you could actually look at it and work on it. I mean, you could replace the battery. One thing I hate about these new Notes about Samsung, and Samsung really makes me mad. I need to find somebody, electrical engineer. You can't put micro SD cards in them anymore. You're stuck with whatever memory uh, the phone, whatever internal memory the phone has. You can't expand the memory anymore. Um, Retro, I tell you what the appeal of that phone folding in half is. Not the little tiny one, but the bigger one is because when you open up, you've got a. I, when I was working full time, I the notes I took on my phone. That's why I like the Samsung Note line because my I wore out styluses from keeping notes on my phone. Hey, morning, Ramen. Well, that's what they want you to do, Ramen, but you can replace, you can't, but that's what I was saying. I was going to have the battery replaced to my Note 9. There's a heating pad that will heat the phone up to break the glue loose that holds the phone together, and then you can get inside and replace the battery. And you can buy the batteries. You just got to have the equipment needed to take the phone apart in order to do it, which that heating pad is the primary thing that you need to use. There's a guy on YouTube and TikTok that does it out of Tarpon, Florida. Young guy, he's mid to late 20s, I would say. Does computer and computer, uh, tablet, and cell phone repairs. Tin Whiskers. No, I had not heard of Tin Whiskers before. Uh, Tin whiskering is a phenomenon which occurs in electrical devices when metal forms long whisker-like projections over time. Tin whiskers were noticed and documented in vacuum tube era of electronics in the early 20th century. Oh, okay. I see what you're talking about. I just didn't know that's what they were called. Metal whiskering is a crystalline meteorological phenomena involving the spontaneous growth of tiny filiform hairs from a metallic surface. The effect is primarily seen on elemental metals, but also occurs with others. Whiskering can cause short circuits and arcing in electrical equipment. Uh, yeah, okay. I just didn't. Okay, now I just didn't know that's what it was called, or if I did, I'd forgotten. So, but anyway, so I'm setting, spent part of the evening last night and part of this morning setting up this new this new 22 Ultra, and I'll be doing the same to the wife's phone when it gets. I just hope hers gets in a lot earlier than mine did. They said be delivered by 8 o'clock. It showed up at 20 minutes till 8 last night, and I was about ready for bed when it showed up. So, all right. I'm hoping I stopped this video in time for this. Vivek uh, Ramaswamy. He had an interesting go with a reporter the other day. All right.
I'm personally pansexual, so I was just wondering what your views on same-sex couples were.
I don't have a
Okay. So this reporter, this is an actual reporter, is coming out announcing what she is. I'm pansexual. What are your views? You evil, mean Republican.
negative view of same-sex couples, but I do have a negative view of a tyranny of the minority. So I think that in the name of protecting against the tyranny of the majority, and there are times in this country's history where we have had a tyranny of the majority, we have now, in the name of protecting against tyranny of the majority, created a new tyranny of the minority. And I think that that's wrong. I don't think that somebody who's religious should be forced to officiate a wedding that they disagree with. I don't think somebody who is a woman who's worked really hard for her achievements should be forced to compete against a biological man in a swim competition. I don't think that somebody who's a woman that respects her bodily autonomy and dignity should be forced to change clothes in a locker room with a man. That's not freedom, that's oppression. And so I believe that we live in a country where free adults should be free to dress how they want, behave how they want, and that's fine. But you don't oppress, you don't become oppressive by foisting that on others. And that especially includes kids, because kids aren't the same as adults. And so I think adults are free to make whatever choices they want, but do not foist that ideology onto children before children are in a position as adults to make decisions for themselves. And so I think a lot of the frustration in the country, and if I'm being really honest, that I also share, comes from that new culture of oppression where saying those things can actually get somebody punished. And in my case, it's part of why it's my responsibility to say them. And I respect that you have a different opinion, and that's okay. Part of what makes our country great is that you and I can be civil and have this conversation, and that we live in a country that still gives us, each of us, the right to speak to a presidential candidate and back, and still say that we pledge allegiance to the same nation. So I think that's the beauty of our country, and that's my honest opinion.
Awesome. Well,
Thanks.
thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right. Now, I'm thoroughly impressed here. That one, I'm impressed by his answer. His answer is 100% correct. She impressed me. She come, because the way she started off, I'm this pansexual. Make me happy. And she actually stood there and let him speak without yelling at him or calling him any nasty names or turning her back on him or anything else. And then they shook hands there at the end. His answer, though, was spot on, even though I think that there towards the end, he went a little bit too far. Not in, he didn't go far enough in defending the adult's right not to have somebody of the opposite sex, the opposite gender, people with dangly bits that they don't have, sharing a locker room with them, undressing right next door to them. I mean, not next door, right next to them, to where you're being exposed to body parts that you don't want to be exposed to, and you're exposing body parts to somebody that you don't want to expose them to. But I would give him a good solid A on that answer. I really would. And anybody, and one of the other politicians, and I don't care who it is, Trump, DeSantis, Biden, any uh, RFK, or anybody else jumping into the politic field here, if they don't give an answer very similar to that, then they're a loser. Because he gave the best answer that could possibly be given. I don't care what you do. And I would say 90% of our country doesn't. We don't care what you do inside the privacy of your home as long as you're not hurting somebody else. As long as it's with consensual adults and it doesn't involve children, we don't care what you do. You want to sit there and shove your fist up somebody's backside? Hey, as long as that person wants your fist up there, that's fine. If you want to if you've got uh, stuff hanging from your rafters and you want to swing back and forth with a candle and a feather underneath you and tickling your butt, hey, more power to you. Help yourself. But keep that in your bedroom and keep it away from children and don't tell children what you're doing. Keep your sexual life to yourself and away from my kids, especially my kids. So yeah, he gave a perfect answer there, Retro. You're right. He gave a damn near perfect answer. And I don't know how much this has got national airplay. The only place I know it got some on Fox. I think it was the Five played it because I could find a video from them, but they chopped it up, and I wanted to play the whole thing, his whole answer. I didn't want it being chopped up. So, but yeah, he did a good job there. He gave a good answer. Um, I'm not finding a whole lot really to disagree with him on. Um, I'm still doing research on his background and his limited time in office and how he's voted in the past. But yeah, I'm still working on. I mean, he is a contender. So, but speaking of, okay, wow, only a little while left to go. Um, and speaking of contenders here, or not contenders, but of our kids, school's starting up, and therefore a lot of parents are really stepping in to tell the schools what they're expecting to happen, the school boards. Now, here in Florida, I did not know this just passed law until I heard about it on the news the other night. Uh, there's now a Florida state law that the kids cannot take cell phones into the classrooms. And I'm on two sides of this. All right. One, I can understand why school districts and schools would not want children to bring cell phones into the class. All right. They're a distraction. Kids sitting there watching YouTube videos, Instagram, tweeting back and forth, or excuse me, Xing back and forth, uh, passing answers back and forth, cheating on tests, yada, 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 yada. Doing everything but what they're supposed to be doing. So I can understand that. But the flip side of that, we would not know as parents what these teachers are doing in the classrooms if it weren't for kids with cell phones recording them. If every classroom in the state of Florida had a camera and a microphone in it, and all the video was saved to the cloud to where any parent, where not only parents, but anybody could watch it and download the video, that would be one thing. That would be ideal so that the parents could supervise what was going on in the classrooms. Yeah, I heard that retro. I'm not real happy about that aspect either. You're exactly right, Raman. It eliminates kids' ability to document abusive teachers. And that's why that is the main reason why I don't like the law. I mean, I really want cameras in the classrooms. I really do. Oh, I forgot. Oh, I did screw up that title, didn't I? And I fixed it on one, didn't fix it here. I'm going to have to go back and fix the title, the stream title. So, yeah, this irritates me that they're not going to be doing it or that they can't do it. And there's got to be a way we can fix this. And the best way to fix it is for us to go ahead and pay to have cameras installed in the classrooms and tell the teachers that that's the way it's going to be. I I've recently gotten to a discussion with the teacher, face to face discussion. This wasn't an internet one. This was a face to face one. I swear she wanted to slap me. I swear that I mean, I could see, I could see the muscles twisting in her arm. It started off badly though. Well, it didn't start off on the best of terms, but it got bad when I reminded her, hey, My tax dollars pay your salary. These are our children. You're teaching. It's not your job to put your morals on my kids. You work for me, not the other way around. And honestly, woman, you're not smarter than I am. You have a degree. You have a degree. You have a degree that I don't have, but I got almost 40 years on you. The data, see, but the thing is these are public schools, and like any government organization, when you walk in, you're on camera. You walk in your city hall, you walk into your police department. Hell, you walk into your water department, you're on camera. You walk into the DMV, you walk into the tax collector's office, you're on camera. The only place they don't automatically put cameras is in the classrooms. And that's because the teachers' unions have been able to fight against it. So when it's a government owned building, there's no, what you can do, and what you can do like in your business also depends on your business. Walmart Walmart can have all the hidden cameras they want. A hotel or gym owner, not so much. So, but New Jersey mob battles with Democratic governor to keep school policy of informing parents about their kids. A New Jersey mom is stepping up to defend the school board's new parental notification policy against the state's attorney general. The Goldwater Institute is representing Angela Tazinski in her bid to challenge New Jersey Attorney General Plotkin's attempt to block the implementation, of a policy that requires teachers to notify parents if their children request to change gender identities. Get this. The state wants to block a policy that requires teachers to notify parents about actions or issues dealing with their children. This is ridiculous. This is the state saying your children aren't your children. But it's just not going on in New Jersey. Okay. Let's see. Where's the other one at? Here we go. Now the title of this story is just a little misleading. North Carolina overrides veto to ban trans athletes from competing in women's sports. So North Carolina, their legislature passed a bill. Sorry, Men, you can't say you're a woman and compete against women. Ain't going to happen. The governor vetoed the bill. So the legislature said, screw you, governor. We're going to override your veto. It's law anyway. But it's not just that law. North Carolina General Assembly completed an override to Governor Roy Cooper's veto of the Fairness of Women's Sports Act, which bans transgender girls and women in middle school, high school, and college from joining women's sports. HB 574, which is the Fairness of Women in Sports Act, was among multiple overrides the House and Senate made Wednesday night. It passed by the House 74 to 45, while the Senate voted to override Cooper's decision later in the night. HB 808, which does not allow medical professionals to provide hormonal treatment, puberty blocking drugs, or gender transition procedures to anyone 18, was also overridden. The governor vetoed a bill that if his veto would have stood, your 12-year-old, your 13-year-old child in North Carolina would have been able to get hormone treatment or puberty blocking drugs while they were still a child. And the Congress said no. Well, said no twice. Overrode his veto. Finally, the House and Senate overrode SB 49, also known as the Parents' Bill of Rights, which requires teachers to inform parents when students question their gender or choose to use a different pronoun in class. These bills were passed into law and will take effect immediately. This is good news for parents. This is good news for families. Now, of course, Cooper, he's not happy about it, because he had other issues that he wanted to push through. And he thought that, well, we'll just read his thing here. The legislature finally comes back to pass legislation that discriminates, makes housing less safe, and blocks FEMA disaster recovery funding, hurts the freedom to vote, and damages our economy. Yet they won't pass a single budget when teachers, school bus drivers, and Medicaid expansion for thousands of working people getting kicked off the health plans every week are desperately needed. These are the wrong priorities, especially when they should be working nights and weekends necessary to get a budget passed by the end of the month. Well, Mr. Cooper, if you had not vetoed those bills, the House and the Senate wouldn't have had to spend their valuable time overriding your veto. And they would have had time to work on this other stuff. Now, why aren't these people getting the lesson of Bud Light? Why aren't they getting the smart about what happened with Bud Light? Huh? I don't understand what the Bush family is trying to buy back Budweiser. Before the entire company goes into the crapper. I read that article the other day. I don't have a link to it, but I read that the other day. No, I wasn't planning on talking about, it, but why not? The Disney Snow White movie with Renee Ziegler, I think, and Gal Gadot. And Ziegler just cannot keep her mouth shut about how, first of all, Disney. And I'm not saying nothing new here. Snow White, skin as white as the snow, with hair as black as coal. That is a physical description of Snow White. Just like the description of Ariel, the Little Mermaid, was having long red hair and blue eyes. She wasn't described as a black woman. Written for Danish children. Now, some people have said, and I've read articles saying that the Little Mermaid story is an allegory for a gay man's love for another gay man. Uh, Whatever. I don't know if that's true or not. That's just one of the things that popped up when I was doing a little bit of looking into the background of that. It's like the Tiana and the Frog story that Disney did out where a black girl out of New Orleans kissed a frog. Now, at least this time they didn't try to do the German story as it was written. They changed it, even though people that know the original story. Maybe I'm too old, but at least enough people knowing the original story came out of Germany and yada yada yada. But they made changes to it at least, and they legitimately could get away with changing the race of the princess, of the female involved. But Disney, you put in a very dark skinned woman who turns around and hates the original story. And that's fine. She can hate the original, be it the Brothers Grimm version or the 1937 version. That's okay. She can hate it all she wants. But she should have kept her mouth shut. Why didn't you tell her to keep her opinion to herself? Talk about, instead of saying how much she hated the original story, just sit there and say, well, I'm not here to talk about the original story. I'm here to talk about the movie. And then, trying to defend that, well, where are the seven dwarves at? There ain't one. Well, where's the prince at? Well, there ain't one. Where's this at? There ain't one. Then how are you calling this Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Disney? You don't have Snow White, you don't have seven dwarfs, and you don't have a prince. What the hell? That stupidity. Nah, I don't care about the. Y'all ain't gonna care about that story, so I'm gonna get rid of it. But I'm gonna talk about Illinois and gun stories, gun laws. I am going to bring this up. because the way Illinois is backdooring gun control is amazing. Gun organization sues Illinois over new firearms restrictions. New Illinois law allows gun manufacturers to be sued over marketing violations. The law forbids marketing that targets children or glorifies private militia and paramilitary actions. Okay. Importantly, while normally gun dealers and manufacturers cannot be sued if a weapon they sell or produce is used in a crime or accident, the new Illinois law creates a way to sue such parties in civil court if the incident can be tied to the now illegal advertising practices. A lot of gun manufacturers, not all, but a lot of gun manufacturers, manufacture rifles and handguns to fit a child's hand or a child's body. They've had made child size 22s for at least 100 years. Later, Data, you have a good one. Hey, Data, go ahead and post your link. Oh, you already did. Okay. Yeah, Peter did sort of ruin it for every short person, you know. He pulled up that ladder behind him in a hurry, didn't he? Um, oh, yeah, they're definitely going to call it marketing retro. They're definitely going to get away with doing that. Especially if they say the name of the gun or if they show a child using a gun, somebody obviously under the age of 18, you know, Red Dawn. Oh no, you showed Red Dawn to somebody, therefore you're marketing guns to children. Sad. Okay, but okay. The organization argues the law runs afoul of First Amendment speech protections and the right to due process, and the Second Amendment's protection of gun ownership. The flawed logic of this unconstitutional law is only to the contempt for to which the authors, and the Governor Pritzker holds the constitutionally protected right of the citizens of his state to keep and bear arms. As the Senate President said when this legislation was passed in the Senate, we are confident it does not conflict with federal law. Elizabeth Mitchell, spokesman for the Illinois Senate President Don Harmon, told Capital News, Illinois. See, we started off with, and part of this is we banned advertisements for cigarettes because it might make children want to smoke because the Marlboro Man. Remember? I remember watching the Marlboro Man lighten up. I remember the Winston theme song. I remember the sexy thin woman that used to light up that Virginia Slims when I was a kid. Now, none of that got me to smoking. I started smoking when I was 18 years old in basic training. Why did I start smoking when I was 18 years old in basic training? Because everybody that smoked got a 15-minute break every hour. Those of us that didn't smoke had to keep on doing whatever it was we were doing. And when you're out in that Texas heat in June and July, yeah, that did not make me a happy camper. So I started smoking. But for the children, we banned cigarettes. I'm surprised that we still allow alcohol advertising. For the sake of the children, you make out drinking alcohol look sexy. We shouldn't be drinking advertising alcohol. When I was a kid, some of the funniest sketch comedy shows had an alcoholic. Well, my dad smoked retro. My mom smoked for a few years. I remember buying, in fact, my mom smoked Virginia Slims. Let's see. My dad drank Old Dutch beer and smoked Viceroys. So, but like I said, I didn't start smoking until I got in basic training and realized that, like I said, everybody that smoked got a 15-minute break. Now nobody can smoke in basic. They changed that years ago. At least 25 years ago, they changed that. I was still active duty, so that was at least back in the 90s when they quit allowing people to smoke in basic. And then they couldn't smoke through tech school. So, hell, when I got into tech school, we had cigarette and beer machines on every floor. Yes, right next door to the Coca-Cola and Pepsi machine was a beer machine and a cigarette machine. You could sit there and buy beer and cigarettes and never leave the dorms. Come on. And I think for the last story that I'm going to spend any real time on with, uh, Black Lives Matter and what the Democrats allowed the Black Lives Matter people to get away with is coming back to bite them in the ass under the Equal Protection Clause. What they allowed Black Lives Matter groups to get away with, protesters get away with, you know, people on the other side of other issues are starting to use that use the same tactics. And when they're being arrested and charged, they're saying, but equal protection. A federal appeals court has sided with the anti-abortion protesters on First Amendment grounds, ruling that the District of Columbia likely discriminated by arresting them for using chalk on a sidewalk, but not Black Lives Matter protesters engaged in a similar activity. A three-judge panel of the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia unanimously reversed the lower court's opinion in favor of city officials on Tuesday, allowing the lawsuit to continue. It was not immediately clear whether the Washington officials will appeal the ruling. State police arrested two anti-abortion protesters in the summer of 2020 for chalking Black Preborn Lives Matter on a public sidewalk in violation of the city's vandalism ordinance. Now, sidewalk chalk washes off. And there are other court cases in other parts of the country where people have been arrested and charged with vandalism. And the courts threw them out saying, no, it's not vandalism, it's sidewalk chalk. It doesn't cause damage, it washes off. No, it's not vandalism. The appeals court said the city all but abandoned enforcement of that same ordinance when protesters writing Black Lives Matter on public and private property after the killing of George Floyd by Minneapolis police. The government may not play favorites in a public forum, permitting some messages and prohibiting others, the appeals panel wrote. Access to the public fora must be open to everyone and to every message on the same terms. The plaintiffs were represented by Conservative Alliance Defending Freedom. Ed Hawley, ADS vice president, said the group was pleased with the decision. Every American deserves for their voice to be heard as they engage in important cultural and political issues of the day. And of course, the Attorney General for the District of Columbia did not respond for a request to comment. Two of the judges were appointed by Democratic presidents and one named by a Republican. Uh-oh, what did Mr. Jack just send out? Oh my God. No, no. You've got to be absolutely. Photos leaked of horrific January 6th prisoner abuse, tortured 5 months in isolation in a closet room with the light on and a bucket for a toilet. That's a damn mop bucket. January 6th political prisoner Ryan Samsel has been held in prison without a trial now since January 2021. That's that is a freaking wrestling mat. That's what he's been sleeping on now. Earlier this week, the Gateway pundit received exclusive photos from Ryan Samsel's prison cell at the FDC in Philadelphia. The cell is the size of a closet with the light on all the time. The cell has a thin blue mattress, no sheets or blankets, no clothing, and he was kept here for 5 months straight. I was kept in a hard cell, and in that cell, about 5, 6 months, I even told you what was happening is the judge actually calling, trying to get in contact with me because I wasn't in a named cell. They were missing me, and they kept saying I wasn't showing up to court. They were saying I wasn't showing up to medical, but they're pretty much keeping me in there. Like I said, it was a cold, the light was on, no window, and that followed me from Virginia when I was in Virginia. It was the exact same conditions. Ron described it was a central regional cell I was kept in. They called it a booking hard cell, which you get zero phones, zero commissary, and zero clothing because they think you're going to hang yourself and you're on constant surveillance. The light has to be on 24/7. You're locked up in a cell. There's no getting out. The windows in Virginia were covered by a black mat, so you weren't able to see. It was constant nothing, deprivation. Ryan believes the government tortured him for months so he would rat out the Proud Boys. They even beat Ryan numerous times and kept him locked down so he couldn't communicate with anyone. Ryan is not alone. Numerous January 6th prisoners have been held for months in torturous conditions. Dozens have been sentenced to extreme sentences for nonviolent crimes. This is a horrible chapter and must be confronted. Damn. There's some people that need to go to prison over this. And I'm talking prison for years. You have got to be kidding me. They don't even keep child molesters in their conditions like this. They don't even keep a child molester in this kind of conditions. I'm I know I'm being quiet here. I'm being silent, and that's because I'm trying to keep from using some language I don't want to use. Yeah, yeah. If he was kept in, if this is solitary confinement and he was kept in here without any human contact, and it looks like in that one picture. I mean, if you look in the very back of the cell, look in the very back here in this other picture. It looks like they got the little black hose that they use for filling your mop bucket. That's what he had to keep himself clean with. And I mean, he's sleeping. Uh, the head of his bed, the head of his quote unquote mattress is a foot, 18 inches from the bucket he's using as a toilet. A bucket. That means everything is sitting in that bucket until they empty it for him. He needs to be released, all charges dropped, and he 5 6 months. Okay, he needs to be given a paycheck of $6 million. All charges dropped and a paycheck of $6 million, and everybody from the uh, anybody in the courts to the people in the prison, every person that knew he was being kept under those conditions needs to be uh, sentenced, needs to go to jail, needs to go to prison. Every person that knew he was being kept in those conditions. I don't care if they were the janitor. Every person in that prison needs to be going that's involved with that had an inkling that they knew he was like that needs to go to prison. They need to lose their jobs. They need to go to prison. And I'm not talking 6 weeks, 6 months. I'm talking you kept him in there for 5 months, you'd go to prison for 5 years. For every month he was in that under those conditions, you go to prison for a year. This is what you expect out of North Korea. This is what you expect out of Venezuela. This is what you expect out of Russia. You don't expect this out of an American jail. Like I said, we don't even treat child molesters like this. Yeah, he's going to need psychological help for the rest of his life. He really is. I hope his family, if he still has one left, is given the proper training, and they're going to need help, professional help in dealing with him because of how he's going to act and react to things. Hey there, Cook. How you doing this morning? Oh, this is just irritating as hell. Son of a gun. Why would somebody do this? What kind of demented son of a bitch would do this to another human being in this country? And you know who I put? I put the fault for this happening on the media and on the Democrats. I put the fault for this, the blame lies with the media and the Democrats. Because for 3 years now, we've heard 3.5 years now, or 2.5 years, we've heard nothing about insurrection, insurrection, insurrection. The attempt to overthrow democracy, the attempt to perform a coup. That's all we've heard out. They have and people thought they could think that they could get away with this shit because they were punishing the most evil people in the world. People who love the most evil people in the world. People who were there because they supported Donald J. Trump, the orange man bad. These people are. You're right. And see, in retro, right now in the state of Florida, all right, yesterday, again, the lies by the media, the lies by the Democrats, all right, protesters marched through Miami to object to Florida's Black History teaching standards. Dozens of teachers, students, and labor leaders marched through Miami School District headquarters Wednesday to protest new standards for teaching Black history, which has come under intense criticism for what they say about slavery. The protesters marched to the school board in Miami-Dade County to object to new curriculum standards that, among other things, required teachers to instruct middle school students that enslaved people develop skills which, in some instances, could be applied to their personal benefit. And that's the goddamn truth. This man's wearing a shirt saying, teach the truth. They're not teaching that slavery was perfect. They're not teaching that slavery was a good thing. Because it wasn't. But some slaves, some people learned valuable job skills that when they were freed, they made money with, they supported their families with after they got their freedom. Blacksmithing, raising crops, dealing with animal husbandry. They became experts, forced, they were forced to become experts in doing these things. But some people did learn valuable skills that stood them well after they were freed. But these people protesting doing this, hey, this is a good thing. They can do whatever they want. They could torch the buildings, and it's a good thing because they got a righteous anger. The summer of mostly peaceful protest was a good thing because of a righteous anger. There's a righteous anger is determined by the press and the Democratic Party, one and the same. But if you disagree with them, well, too bad. And DeSantis, the new standards, the new state standards that DeSantis came up with will not be tolerated. DeSantis did not come up with these standards. DeSantis wasn't even on the board. And yes, there were black men and women on the board that made this decision as to what the standards would be. The media lies and gets away with it. The lies, the lies. All right. But you see, they're also angry at they're also angry at DeSantis for this too. Part of the same thing, the revamping of the school system and what can and can't be taught in the Florida state schools. Florida student group may need to remove black from its name. Well, if it's at a state funded school, hell yes. Because otherwise, you're discriminating. You're discriminating by the name itself. A student organization at Tallahassee Community College is grappling with the naming predicament due to a new Florida law. Florida Governor DeSantis signed Bill 266 into law in May. It aims to prohibit colleges and universities from spending money on diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. The new law prohibits student-led organizations that advocate for DEI from receiving state or federal funding. Now, the black male achievers may need to remove black from its official title or risk losing its funding. Well, would a organization, the white male achievers, be given funding? No, it wouldn't, because it'd be said it was racist. Student Taylor Soto told BBC the group is working possible new name such as male achievers or scholar male achievers. I'll be surprised that they don't refuse that because of the fact that now it's going to discriminate against women. You know, the progressive groups will allow it. The same people that allowed and hailed the group for being the black male achievers, that discriminatory language was allowed. But without that black in there, well, you can't have it just being males now because, you know, you got to let the women in. You can't have a men's only group. You got to let the women in. This has basically been used as a veneer to impose an ideological agenda, and that is wrong, DeSantis said. In fact, if you look at this as aptly been implemented across the country, DEI is better viewed as standing for discrimination, exclusion, and indoctrination that has no place in our public institutions. And he's right about that. Man, I keep thinking back to that damn prison photos, man. Those pictures are going to haunt me, Retro. Those pictures are going to haunt me now. You're things something is going to break and things are going to, it's already ugly. It's going to get uglier. It's just going to get uglier. Where is it at? I mean, Boston area schools. Um, well, here's the article. Boston area schools, you know, they dropped advanced mathematics. Cambridge school leaders say they can't reinstitute advanced math classes in middle school uh, because there were too many whites and Asians in the class and not enough blacks and Hispanics. Many students continue to reel from pandemic related learning losses and not ready to take Algebra 1 before high school and offering it to just those who are prepared, they say, would only widen the persistent disparities of education performance among subgroups. And the subgroups, blacks and Hispanics, mostly blacks. California Board of now in California, the Board of Education is expected to pass a state math framework that discourages eighth grade algebra. Leaders say the controversial measure is necessary because the state pressured districts to offer eighth grade algebra. Many students are unprepared for the course and had to repeat it. I took algebra in eighth grade. In Dallas, a 2019 change requires students to opt out of honored classes rather than in, has led to 60% of eighth graders taking Algebra 1, triple the prior level. It is a move educational leaders banked on to increase the number of historically marginalized students in advanced courses. Next, Cambridge Belmont has an ongoing debate over math pathways after the district reduced the number of options for middle school students in 2019-2020. When are these people going to learn? Skin color ain't got nothing to do with intelligence. It doesn't. And if the schools are doing their jobs correctly and would spend less time messing around DEI and more time teaching core subjects, instead of spending time with drag school readings and teaching kids that they can be boys and girls if they want. Oh, you're born with the dilly whacker, then you can, but you don't, you can be a girl if, even though you have that dilly whacker. Oh, you were born without a dilly whacker? Well, you can still be a boy. You can get a dilly whacker later if you want one. Instead of spending time teaching the kids this, remember, you only have a finite set of time during a school day. There's only a certain number of minutes. And every minute that you are using to teach a kid one subject, I don't care what that subject is. Every minute you spend a time on one subject, that's less time you got to teach another subject. Because time is finite. You can't just add more time, reach up in the sky, grab more time, and throw it into the day. So every minute that you spend out there on inclusion training, every minute you spend out there doing drag shows, every minute you spend out there teaching kids that their skin color matters and what they do and don't do. That's less time you're spending there teaching the kids how to read, write, do science, and math. You're right, Retro. You're exactly right, man. That's if that and come back if that was a black man being held up for something like that, you there'd be heads rolling already. There'd already be a FBI investigation. The Department of Justice would be down there with uh, a ton of people investigating what's going on, and people would already been rolling out in handcuffs. If that had been a black guy jailed for marching in a Black Lives Matter protest. You'd have the DOJ down there just tearing that place apart. You'd have every newspaper in the country that been headline news. On every network and above the fold in every paper. But as a white guy that supported Trump, it doesn't matter. The pure hypocrisy and double standards in this country by the media. Was that today? I didn't close that tab. Was that today's article? Was that in today's paper? August 17th. Yes. I'm going to be paying attention to the news tonight. And after the stream, I will be paying attention. I'm going to turn on CNN. God, I haven't watched CNN in years on for more than 15 or 20 minutes, but I'm going to turn on CNN today and I want to see if they try to if they bring this story up even once. Let me go to CNN's website. See if this story is on CNN. CNN.com. Well, let's see here. Okay. Breaking news, CNN. Names, photos, and addresses allegedly belonging to members of the grand jury indicted Trump are circulating. Oh no, that's horrible. Well, it shouldn't happen, but okay, Maui ashes. Okay, Maui. Let's see here. Passing gas can say about health. 3 people die after infection, flesh-eating bacteria. Medieval girl buried face down, ankles tied to stop return from grave. Bored apes investors sue as NFT prices go. Anybody that invested in NFTs was foolish. That's a quick get rich quick scheme from the get go. Even I knew that. Oh, that's only got one L. Hillary strengthens to a hurricane could bring heavy rain to parts of the U.S. this weekend. Okay. It's only got one L. Too bad it's not two. Let's see here. FIDE bans transgender women. Okay. His organs were fried. Now, fact sheet Biden. I'm not seeing anything on their first page. Travel spotlights. 2 bands depends on X after pro Nazis. Pro Wagner accounts keep showing up. Uh, okay, the advertising. All right, so let's go to politics. Let's look at what are they headlining on their politics page. Hunter Biden, Fulton County jurors circulating on far right websites. Okay. Um, not. Uh, Texas woman threatening to kill judge. Okay, yeah, you don't threaten judges. All right, nothing. And okay, I don't see anything there. Oh, you saw? Okay, you saw it there. Okay, retro. Oh, Hillary's going to. Okay, it's going to bring rain to Southern California and the Southwest this weekend. Well, they need it. Okay, yeah, that storm's going. Looks like it's going to go up the West Coast there. So parts of Texas, Nevada, and California is going to get some rain. So y'all be good. Yeah, you guys out there, be careful, okay? Y'all don't get. Okay, what? Let me come back. Okay, what was this guy's name here again? Let me do a cut and paste here. I don't want to copy link address. Thank you. CNN. All right. Prisoner by putting the prisoner in there, it came up with nothing. Let me get rid of the word prisoner and see if that shows anything. Okay. You see what I see there? Trial for Proud Boy leaders. This displaying, okay, that's from December 2022, 2021, 2021, 2021. One page. That's it. That's it for Ryan Samsel on CNN on their website this morning. We'll find out if it's on Fox. And you know something? I'm not going to take that bet. I'm not going to take that bet. Okay, foxnews.com. And you notice I'm doing this on the page I'm sharing so that you guys can, there's no nonsense as far as what I'm, you know, getting. Ryan Samsel. Well, 2 years ago, an article about him being beaten. Load more. Nope, that's it. Nothing on Fox News either. Showing 3 out of 0 results for Ryan Samsel. Okay, so let's try this. Ah, oh, come on. All right, so let's see here. 2021 story. 2022 story, 2022, 2022. A 2022 story about him refusing medical treatment. Then another one here in May of 2022 about he's wanting medical treatment for non-urgent care. Uh, Stepped in closet. There we go. So, now if you put it in Google and put it in kept in closet, you get the story. You get the Twitter link or the X link that Jack shared. Retro, I gave up on Fox before then. Um, Actually, when the old man quit being in charge of Fox and turned it over to his boys, I saw that as being the end of Fox News as we knew it, because the one boy is kind of conservative, but the other one's a raging liberal. And I knew that, I knew that was going to be the end of Fox News. So I I haven't watched Fox News on a regular basis in forever. What's okay? That is a story about the demon raccoons taking over Germany. Okay. Um, Retro, you may know this guy, Pete Guston. He's the blind surfer. Uh, this guy, he started losing his eyesight when he was a child, and he's totally blind. He does voiceover work. Uh, he does the the ads for radio, and he does movie ads, the voiceover work for movies. This Friday, come see Blowing in the Wind. But he's got YouTube and TikTok channels, and he goes out and he surfs, he rides skateboards. He does. I mean, he really does very very active, and he just. I mean, I don't skateboard. You ain't gonna catch me on a skateboard. You ain't gonna catch me on a surfboard. I am. Even when I was in my prime, you weren't going to catch me on them. That I mean, roller skates was as far as I went. But he was telling a story here not too long ago about how he was in the gym working out one day, and this woman came up and started yelling at him and accusing him of staring at her. And she just would not accept the fact that he was blind. Well, there's, I accidentally closed that tab. There's a guy in England who was just kicked out of a gym, and I accidentally closed the article, and I'm not going to try to dig it back up. Uh, he was kicked out of a gym for staring at a woman. It's kind of hard to stare at a woman in a gym, regardless of what she's wearing, when you can't see, when you're blind. Ladies, okay, I've seen how you dress on YouTube and TikTok and such when you go to a gym. You're going to the gym dressed to show off your body, most of you. And you got your fancy little camera set there to record yourself working out. Half the time pointing at your crotch or pointing down your bra top to show exactly how great your body is. Retro, you are just full of good news today, aren't you? They're giving plea deals to 9/11 people. Then people shouldn't even be alive today to get a plea deal. They should have been. It's like that uh, bastard that just got his uh, conviction overturned for running out on the army unit in the middle of the night in Afghanistan. That bastard should have been shot. He shouldn't be alive today to have his conviction overturned. You know, he pled guilty to. Okay. These aren't good. Ladies, gents, retro, what are. There used to be a time. I don't. Okay. Have people been falsely convicted and put in jail when they shouldn't have been? Yes. Yes, it's happened. It's happened way, 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 way too many times. White men, black men, white women, black women, but mostly men of black and white, been arrested, convicted, and spent time in prison for charges they shouldn't have been convicted on because they were innocent from the get go. Oh, okay. The blind sheep. Okay. But there are some people that when they go to prison, every day they live is an insult to the people that they killed and to the families that survive, you know, the families of the people that were killed, that they're directly responsible for their deaths. And those people tied into the 9/11 conspiracy, 9/11, every one of them should be thanking God that they were given another breath to draw after they were convicted. Every one of them. So, well, I'm going to end the stream here, guys. I want to thank y'all for coming out and listening to me. In retro, thank you for pissing me off. But no, you brought up something. I would have seen that article here about 10 minutes. You know, I'd seen that article when I got onto uh, X because I do follow Jack, and I would have seen that article. And so, oh, Lord have mercy. Georgia code. Okay. This just got put up. Georgia Code, Title 51 Torts, Chapter 7 False Arrests, False Imprisonment, Malicious Prosecution, Abusive Litigation. Criminal prosecution, which is carried on maliciously without any probable cause and which causes damage to a personal prosecutor, shall be give him a cause of action. Georgia Code allows Trump and 18 defendants to sue Fanafor DA for malicious prosecution and abusive litigation. That could be interesting. That could be really interesting if that happens. I'd like to see that. The way she smirked and the way that sheriff smirked when he announced he was going to bring Trump in for mug shots. And I would not be surprised if he wasn't going to try to perp walking. Yeah, this is going to be. This is going to be interesting. But anyway, y'all have a good day. Enjoy yourselves. If you're going to get in trouble, have as much fun getting out of it as you did getting into it. And as always, love the ones that you're with and be with the ones that you love and have a good day.